Hey everyone, it's Ethan here with the much awaited Diamond 3 guide. We had one for Platinum, we had one for Diamond 4, but like I said, Diamond 3 is a whole different beast as you are playing against Predators. This is of course playing solo as well, so I'm still not squadding up on this and still trying to gain some points. You see there, my squad was all diamonds, and here we go. That is the champion squad, Predators, the highest one being number 23 in the world on Xbox, of course. So we're going to try and handle this basically, and I've picked a match where I'm not absolutely cracked out my mind on caffeine and my aim isn't exactly true. You'll see within the first couple of minutes that my aim is definitely not true. I think we miss a good few longbow shots. But we're going to go for the win besides all of that as well. And obviously we're playing against Preds and Masters, and our team is Diamonds that aren't even on mic as well. I think I communicate once during this entire match for about 2 seconds, just to say one little thing. But other than that, I'm completely silent, as are my teammates. So you can see here, we're immediately dropping on a squad. We pinged the squad to begin with so that our entire team is aware. I dropped right near my teammates. I don't normally do that, but when there's a squad on us, especially against Preds, you need some cover. So we're picking up the longbow here. My teammate actually gets the shield, and I'm going to switch the P2020 for the alternator, and there we go. We try and crack a few shots on them. I'm trying to make them scared. I'm trying to break an armor, maybe make them run away, make them not want to take us down, make them hopefully think that maybe we're a Predator squad as well. But you can see here my shooting is pretty abysmal. I get one shot on there and I see the grenade. Luckily McCorsick shouts it out so I don't run in after it, but I do get the R301. That is worth the risk. I'm going to pop here and see if I can get anybody, but they are absolutely covering themselves in Corsic traps. Now I'm thinking immediately, I haven't got a shield. I'm going to go down here, see if I've got one. But there is not one down here either. There is, however, an R99. I pick up some heavy ammo just in case. I know I don't have a heavy weapon, but we may need it in the future, or my teammates might. And this is the point where I'm like, you know what? We should head somewhere else. There's no point in us trying to take on this team. It is basically going to be a 50-50 battle at this point, and I don't even have a shield either, so it is really not worth that risk. Whilst my teammates are coming in, I am just going to keep looking this way until the Bloodhound scan comes in and you see that they're not chasing us, which is absolutely ideal. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through this building, and we're totally just ignoring this fight now, basically, and I believe that they're also ignoring it. It's the smarter thing to do at that stage in the match. The main way that you lose points when you're coming into Diamond, especially against the harder squads as well, especially in Diamond 3, is basically by taking fights on early. Now, when you're on minus 48 points, that is basically 5 kills or assists that you need to get in early fights in order to break even. And you're asking for a third party at that point as well. There's so many times when I personally would rather go into a third party early on, and when you're opening yourself up to that kind of risk, is it really worth it? I mean, 5 kills or assists just to be able to break even? Not to me. We're going to go for survival instead, so we're going to ignore that fight. If I managed to get a good longbow shot on, I could have headshotted one of them at the start, you know, if I was good. And they might not have had armor as well. I might be able to down one, and then it's a 3v2, and we can quickly rush them before they get any good weapons and armor, but it didn't go that way, so instead we're going to basically go around this side of the map. Now, we're actually quite close to the ring here as well, so we're not even actually going to ping out a position we need to get to, because we are right on the edge of it. Actually seems as though we're all under the same kind of confirmation that we're going to be running through these buildings instead and picking ourselves up some loot. So, whilst we've got a little bit of downtime here, let's talk about my loadout at the moment. Now, I don't usually use a longbow, however, I've managed to pick one up with a 3x sight, and that looks pretty handy to me. So, I used to be okay with the longbow, but you can see from the start, not amazing. I do have a sight in it now, which is going to make things a little bit easier. The reason I still have it is because I've also picked up an Evo shield. Now, one good longbow headshot or a couple of bad shots on the body are actually going to level up that Evo shield pretty quickly. And that's what we're going to be aiming to do this match, especially when you're against these squads. You can actually sort of stay a reasonable distance and definitely take some shots at some enemies and do some poking damage without being too bothered. All we need to do when we're doing that is watch out for teams coming in for a third party if they hear the shots. However, at this level, most teams will be looking at the kill feed, and they'll see if nobody's going down, they're not going to bother coming in for this. So my teammates wisely ping the guys on the zipline. I'm going to take a couple of shots here. So now that we've got a sight on, we actually do manage to get a shot on, but only the one shot. Now, this is why I definitely need to practice my longbow skills, because they are absolutely abysmal. I've been running mainly a scout, and I believe later on in this match I do actually pick one up, and that usually happens. If I do find a scout, I will actually pick it up, especially if I don't have too much ammo in my other gun, which can easily happen with a sniper as well. You can run out of ammo pretty easily, as not many people carry snipers, and therefore if you loot depth boxes, it's very rare that you're actually going to find some ammunition in them. So I'm letting the team know that there's a fight going on here. I want to third party this. Now, this is the play here because it's actually quite risky just to run in. So what I'm going to do is actually get a portal down, and this is a part of playing Wraith. Now, this guide is orientated obviously for any legend, but we're actually playing as a pretty good team here. The only thing I'll do is swap the Bloodhound for a Watson, personally. So there's obviously going to be little bits here and there, like me using that portal as the Wraith, but hopefully your Wraith will do something similar in this kind of situation. And if you're playing her, well, there you go, you do something similar. So the reason I'm doing this is because I want to be able to get my Evo shield up, and you see that I did get one shot on, and then she's dancing around. There's no way I'm going to hit her from there, but we do manage to just level up our shields. That, to me, was worth the portal, and I'm actually taking it back. I wouldn't normally take it back at that point, but I'm taking it back because there's a sniper stock there and an extended mag. My teammates there have been really smart. They've heard that I'm using a sniper, so they are actually pinging out the sniper bits for me, even though I haven't pinged them myself. Obviously, the wiser thing to do in that situation, if you were me, would be to actually ping those out and let people know that you need them. Now, I saw the scout there, but I didn't take it because I don't have a great deal of light ammo for the R301 at the moment, and the longbow actually has decent attachments now, and obviously some ammo with it as well, and I've hit a couple of shots, so I'm feeling pretty good. I think I'm going to carry on using it, at least until I get my Evo shield to purple. Now, the reason I usually use a scout or even a hemlock on single fire rather than a longbow on ranked is because I actually find it very hard to get solid kills with sniper rifles on ranked. Once you get one shot on somebody, they're usually smart enough to get under some cover. They're not just going to sit there like usual. Now, the reason I'm bothering to go through this building and destroy the traps is, one, so that we have a building that we can actually go back to, and two, so that I can get the high ground easily and we actually have an escape route. Otherwise, we are basically only going to be able to jump off the roof that my teammates are on. So this is why the longbow is going to come in handy. We're going to try a couple of shots, but I'm not too great at the moment. This is probably my only second match of the day, I believe, but we do manage to hit a couple there at least. Like I say, this is a very average match that I picked, one where my aim is not absolutely on par, but this is more what this guide is for, because it's not for, obviously, you guys that are already hitting 90% of your wingman shots and such. This is more for the average player, the people that occasionally have good games, but sometimes mess it up. This is more about playing smart rather than playing amazing. So I'm watching these death boxes here because I can see the team running over there, and I'm like, right, they're probably going to try and pick up that gear at some point. Obviously, ping it out to my teammate. Now, they're actually getting that death box that's just behind the pillar that I can't see. Now, I could reposition here, but actually looking out, one of them went for that one, which I pinged initially, and we do actually manage to level up our shields now. So there we go. That is the key part of that, getting those Evo shields early on, and because teams aren't going to push you as much as they do on pubs, then you're actually okay with that Evo shield, because most people aren't going to be taking shots at you. You just have to watch out, make sure you don't get sniped by a sniper, as one solid headshot would put you down. So my team want to go fight them. I'm going to put a portal down so that we have an escape route, and I'm actually going to take the left flank here because I want as many angles as possible, lines of sight on them as possible. And there you go, they actually saw me, so I'm going to end my portal there so that I have my gun out to defend myself. The mistake that some people make is they keep the portal out and then they are defenseless. And while I'm doing this around the corner, there's no point just sitting there watching because they're not going to be poking out anytime soon. I may as well just get my shields up slightly. So there we go, we got the scan on that one. Now, the Bloodhound's going in here, he really shouldn't do, because the guy has the jump on him in that building, and you can see that as soon as he's climbing up, you'd absolutely rails him, lasers him with the Havoc. Now, I'm thinking about going up and saving this Bloodhound, but it is a bad idea in this scenario. So right now, I'm going to pause it here. Right now, things have gone very, very wrong, and we're panicking a little bit. My Bloodhound is down, and you can see the Corset. Look at how low health he is. I know that he's going to go down as well. My aim here is not to fight. My aim here is to get away. My aim here is not even to revive my teammates. My aim here is to get away. The reason why is because you lose points when you're trying to revive teammates. There's a full three-man squad that are going to be either Diamond Masters or Predator. They know how to take me on very, 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 very easily, and they will destroy me if I try and take them on, or if I try and revive my teammates. That's why it's so important. There's still 15 squads left here. I'm actually thinking in this scenario that I need to what's called rat, which is just run away and try and survive until the end. And I think to myself that this is going to be one of those games that I can't go for kills, I can't really go for a win, I'm just going to try and survive until the top 5. So that's what I'm going to try and do here, is try and escape. Now the problem being, if they see me absolutely just hightailing it out of there, defenseless whatsoever, they're probably going to see me and, well, beam me, basically. Whereas if I can put a couple of shots down, put a little bit of pressure on them, it might afford me enough room. Now the other reason I'm going to do that as well is because shooting, that's been happening so far, draws in third parties. So I'm kind of hoping here that there's going to be a third party that comes in and helps me out a little bit, or at least start shooting the other team and leave me the chance to escape. So we'll see what happens. So you can see, I was going to try and help the Corsic out there, but I saw the other one coming on him. And the third party actually arrives early on the side that I didn't think it would. I didn't think there would be a third party at that ringside. So this is where I'm going to try and make that escape. I'm actually going to quickly go for these death boxes because I need to make sure that I've got enough shields. I switch a shield there just while I'm looting and then go back to my purple one. That was just in case somebody took a shot at me whilst I was looting. But now that I've got my purple, I'm actually going to take the jump tower. I'm hoping that nobody sees me, but as soon as they start shooting, I'm popping my little going into the void thing, just so that I can get away. And now them shooting me has drawn in their fire from the other team as well. So I'm thinking, you know what? I'm not going to run this, actually. I'm going to try and get the res off. Then, as I'm about to try and get the res off, I see the person shooting my teammate up there, and I go, you know what? That is a no-go from me. So I'm going to grab a little bit of loot, including the meds, of course, as well. They're probably the more important thing. So my teammate has actually gone down, but I can now get a Phoenix kit off. I've actually carried around quite a few different shields and batteries, and this is the first point where now, because I destroyed that Watson trap, I'm able to go into this building and get a Phoenix kit off. I remember that this building was clear from earlier, and I didn't think that there would be anybody in there now, and luckily there wasn't. So I've got the Phoenix kit off. I'm actually not going to go for the revives on my teammates because that takes time, whereas banners I can quickly grab, and I know that there's a respawn beacon nearby. I see the Bangalore smoke, so I know that she's going to be coming in for the death box. She turns away from it. I think she must have seen me. But she actually pokes out here, so we managed to get a couple of shots off. You can see that broke the armor. Good couple of headshots on there. That aim was not too bad whatsoever, especially without a barrel stabilizer. That course, it's got a little bit of time. He died not too long ago, so the Wraith just voided out in time there, so we try and get a couple of shots on. But I'm actually going to quickly grab the Bloodhound banner here. I'm going to forget about the team. I'm going to just quickly hide behind it. I was going to take the jump tower, but unfortunately there's a lifeline there. So we're going to get a couple of shots, putting that little bit of pressure on, and then we're going to escape. We're taking the wall up here because I know that this part is safe. There aren't any teams here. And we can actually just quickly now go for this Corsic banner. Those two teams are absolutely enthralled in each other right now. So this is the great escape here. We're going to try and bring these teammates in, and what I'm thinking, I'm like, right, you know what, there's two teams. If they're still fighting, they're low on health. I've managed to ping a few shields off them. The Bangalore got a good couple of headshots on her. I'm thinking they're both probably quite weak. We might actually be able to get our teammates in here, and they might even be able to get back and grab their gear. So I'm going to put a portal down somewhere behind the wall that's safe, where they can't see it from a distance, and I'm going to basically get it onto the respawn beacon so that we can head back over there. You can see also the ring is coming in here, so both of these teams are going to be pressured by the ring very, very shortly. Now, listening out here, I can't really hear any shooting, so I'm like, oh no, maybe one of the teams has won. But looking at the top of the screen, I see that there are still 14 squads left. That means that neither of them have died. Now it's gone to 13, but that was in the kill feed, a different team going on there. I know that because obviously I can't hear the gunshots. So what we're going to do, we're going to get ourselves on top of the building. And we've still got our sniper. Now, I don't take that initial shot because he's moving around a bit too much. I see the one standing still. Go for him instead. And I'm just blasting shots into this. Really bad ones at that. However, they do a little bit of a job here. So I actually managed to get one down. And what I'm trying to do here is I don't want them to be able to revive anybody. So I'm going to make sure that I just eliminate anybody that is down. But you can see both the teams have lost some players now. You can see a few death boxes over there, which is absolutely awesome for me. So I'm just watching out here, seeing whether we can actually do anything. I see this one down. Now, I actually get the finish on that one because you can see the Wraith was coming in to portal them away. She managed to grab the banner, but that's okay. Now, the reason I shot that one was because I didn't want anybody to get the revive on them. I want there to be as little people over there as possible so that my teammates can actually get the death boxes. And I think what I do here is, I think this is the one time I go on mic in the entire match, and all I do is I tell my teammates that we can get these death boxes over here because both the teams have been depleted. Now, I believe that they're actually still alive, but I'm pretty sure there's only one person on each team now. And you can see both of them ran off. The Wraith used her portal, and I have no idea where that Gibraltar went, but he did go somewhere, probably to salvage. So I'm just letting my teammates know here we can actually take all this loot. So that was a bit of an interesting one. My teammate gets a purple bag, unfortunately, but I'm going to use this little downtime to explain what happened there and a bit more of my actual thoughts on why I did what I did. Now, the key part being, I ran away from that fight, basically. You can see there I just finally switched the longbow for the scout because I was running low on ammo more than anything. I was actually quite enjoying the longbow, but I am much, much better with the scout, so I'm going to pick that up instead, even if it hasn't got very many attachments on it. So the main thing was actually getting away from that fight. And the only way I managed to get away from that fight was because I knew when it was going to be too late before it really was too late. if that makes sense. I saw, once the Bloodhound was down up on that top roof part, I was already thinking to myself, we're probably going to be on our own here and have to get away. I did try a little bit to help my teammate out, but of course it was already so weak at that point as well, and I saw one person in on him, and then I was about to help him out and then saw the other one on the right and realized that it was the third party, so I had to get away. But the main point being that I didn't bother trying to get onto that roof where the Bloodhound was, because I already knew that that was a bad move, and I knew that we were probably going to have to retreat from the fight anyway. So you can see here, we'll just make sure that we are all looted up, and I actually have a near fully stocked scout here as well. I don't have the double tap, but I don't like using the double tap on the scout anyway. I use it for poking damage long range. So we can hear a bit of gunfire down there. Now this is obviously the second ring coming in now, and you can see there, third ring coming in now. You can see there were still 12 squads left. It's actually just dropped to 10. But that is how this is at this higher level of Diamond 3. You can see my teammate pinging out the Wraith Portal there. Is a lot of teams survive very far on in this, so you really have to watch yourself. But you will find that there will be sort of half teams, you know, 2 or 1 man squads. Now I'm just checking around this corner because I know that they're going to possibly appear there, but they could also appear through that Wraith Portal as well. Drop my teammate a little bit of light ammo there as well. I've got plenty of it, but however, I do need most of it because obviously a scout and an R301 are both big. I'm actually going to put down a portal. Now this is just in case that team comes through that left-hand side. I tell my teammates to watch it, and I tell them to watch the portal as well. Using those extra little pings can be very handy when you're not actually on mic with people. So I quickly wait just a moment there and watch out as well. I think there might be a team on this care package. I wasn't sure whether anybody would go for it or not. And we actually get a shield battery there, ping out the devotion obviously for teammates, and get the better backpack as well. Now I've realized that there's nobody here, so we may as well just take this building, and this is actually 9 squads left at this point. You can see where the ring is going to be next. This is a good position to be in. We've actually somehow managed to take it. It's completely free. If this wasn't good, what we would have done is we would have taken that portal back and then tried to reposition somewhere to the south. However, what we're going to do at the moment is I'm actually just going to sit on top of this building, and I'm just taking little pot shots at people here. This is just to get my red evo, basically. The Bloodhound got the one out of that bag, which was fine. I didn't mind him doing that because I knew that I was going to be shooting long range anyway, and that my shield was almost at red. So you can see that I just used that extra ping to say that we're defending this building. And what I want to make sure happens basically is that my teammates don't push into any squads. That's probably the worst thing we could do in this kind of situation at the moment. So, obviously, I have played as a full squad in Diamond 3 where we push teams a little bit harder, but this is not one of those times. We're going to use this roof as cover on the back of it, basically, and constantly duck down. Now, I drop a shield for my core stick as he's pinging that he needs it there, so does that. But he'd actually just use his own one as well. And you can see there, good pings from my teammates. We are actually getting people coming around the right-hand side as well. I'm going to actually use a shield battery on this because it is a full 3 segments, so it is worth the shield battery. And my teammates are taking fire from these guys, so I'm just going to put down some covering fire. And you can see there, I've drawn their fire now, which has helped my teammates. If you watch there, my teammates' shields were getting really depleted. But fortunately, I managed to draw the fire with a little bit of cover. That is so important to do. If ever you see there's one team kind of shooting in your direction, you need to kind of distract them away from your teammates sometimes, and hope that your teammates do the same for you sometimes as well. So you can see here, Wraiths are near impossible to hit when they're running horizontally like that, when you got a single fire weapon at least. But they have put a portal there, so that means that we know that there's going to be a team over there, which is absolutely fine because they're not actually going to be able to shoot us. Now, what I am worried about is a team coming from the north here, so I do tell that on my teammates I'm watching. Now, I should have been behind the roof at that point. That was my own bad for taking a shot there, but it was only 25 shield, so that's not too bad. However, that just goes to show you, sometimes there's a little bit much going on, and you forget the basics. So there's somebody down there. We're going to whack a couple of shots off them. It is a Gibraltar. He's almost down. He's so weak. And this is where we've got to think about pushing this maybe, but there is somebody in that building that we've got to watch out for as well. I actually jumped down to get into the cover of the building. Now, I'm just going to pause it here. The reason I did that was because the ring has taken up half of that building roof, and it meant that we could no longer take cover on the other side, on that slanted part. So I had to jump down at that point to get myself in cover, otherwise I would have ended up like the core stick here. Now I could use my portal here, but I need the portal for the next round. You can see where the next ring is going to be. We're going to have to reposition, so I'm saving my portal for that. I'm going to try and get the core stick to come inside instead. So I do actually just watch over him. He wouldn't have been able to make it inside if I didn't put down that covering fire, but he did make it inside there. So sometimes, even though you want them to reposition so you can get the revive, and the Bloodhound actually gets it here instead, you still need to make sure that you're putting down the covering fire for them, because obviously when they're down, even with a knockdown shield, people can tear through that. I mean, people are good shots at this level. They can tear through that. I mean, I know that I can certainly tear through a blue one with a scout pretty easily. Especially with, you know, 18 bullets in the scout like that. There's a lot of damage. You can get through those big shields. I mean, obviously, if it's a purple one, it's a little bit trickier to do, but certainly a blue one. So this is where we're going to actually reposition. Now, again, I'm saving my portal, because if we can advance without it, then that's absolutely fine. And you can see that I just get the down on the Wraith. Good couple of shots there, including a headshot to finish it off at the end. So I'm actually going round to the right here. I know that there's no teams behind us, which is absolutely fine. I do know that there's a team down there, so I'm just using this wall as cover on my right-hand side, because there's a team over there on my right. Trying to get this Wraith. I'm trying to finish her off, and I'm pinging her out to my teammates. I want to get the kill point for this. I'm still on minus 16 at the moment. And most importantly, I don't want her to be able to get rezzed. And my teammate there actually destroyed the crypto drone, which is awesome as well. Obviously, you can't rely on your teammates to do those kind of things. But if you do squad up, they're the kind of things that you need to be pinging out. So I actually have a quick glance over here and then decide not to, because I get a grenade thrown my way and a couple of shots as well for good measure. So this is where I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to keep this wall as cover on my right-hand side. And again there, I'm going to take a couple of pot shots at somebody. I actually make him turn around and go back at that point. And there we go. Now that they think I'm distracted with that one, I've got a good couple of shots off, and I want my team to go and hammer these now, because I broke all their shields, and I know that they're very, very weak. And I changed my mind. I see my teammates are actually staying over there, and my teammates actually have the better idea here, to be honest with you. They're at the building, which is just right where the ring is going to be, with plenty of cover as well. That would have been a dumb move of me to go and chase that kill. That was being too kill hungry, too thirsty at that point. So instead what I do, come back over to my teammates, and I'm just watching around, making sure that nobody can come through behind us, nobody's on the roof, etc. I'm listening out as well, but it seems as though we are all good there. So just going to pause it here. Let's advance it a little bit. Okay, so in this situation, we are actually in a really, really good position. I know that there's a team down there behind the rock. I'm actually just going to shoot this Corsic trap in a moment here. There's also a team just a little bit to my left as well, across the other side of the bridge. And I don't know where the fourth team, I mean, we're the third one, and yeah, the other team basically is. I feel as though they might also be across the bridge, but I think that one of them is like up on the embankment, and I think the other one might even be below us. However, we're in a really good position. We're actually like on top here as well with a little bit of cover. However, we are going to have to push into that ring where we know that a team is. So this is where we're going to have to try and do as much damage as we can from distance. And at this point, I'm not even really looking to win. I'm looking to pick up some kill points. This is near the end of the match. You can see we're on positive, so we don't need to really worry about dying. What we need to worry about is picking up as many points as possible. So this is where you can go for those kills rather than early on in the game. You know how I was saying earlier about obviously you need 5 kills or assists to break even because you're on minus 48 at the start. At this point, obviously, it doesn't matter if you don't have those 5 kills. You're already positives with only a couple, basically. Even if I didn't have those 2 kills, I would be near enough positives anyway. So now it doesn't matter. We can actually risk our lives a little bit and pick up those kills or assists. So this is where we're actually going to go a little bit more ham, and we're going to shoot at anybody that we see whatsoever. So destroy that trap to make sure that they can't use it as cover. I see the one that's wraithing across there, and they've actually got pretty good cover behind that bit. I realise I can't really shoot through it very well. Probably going to need my scout instead, so I'll take that out. Almost get the one peeking, but I've got to help my teammate out here because there's a lifeline. Somehow don't hit the lifeline. She's getting behind that pillar really, really well. Managed to get a shot on the Pathfinder though. But there's actually only 3 squads now. So we know that they're both over there, basically. One of them's using the portal, getting in that part. So I'm going to try and take a couple more shots, but the Wraith, near enough impossible to hit horizontal, especially with G7 Scout. But we're just trying to break as much armor as we can, and we actually managed to get a lucky down there with a few headshots. And this is the part where we can near enough rush in. I'm just going to make sure my teammate's okay down there, but he is. We're going to near enough rush in. I actually finished the kill there. I thought that was the one I downed, but it wasn't. But that's okay, at least nobody can get the res on that one. And this is the one I downed. I'm going to go for it, but then realise my teammate's pinging somebody else, so I've got to help him out as well. And it actually seems they were all good. My guy gets finished off. There's only 2 squads now, and we've basically got them pinned. I believe that they're behind that rock, and then you'll see here, I believe that we get the lovely Bloodhound scan. They're actually both behind there, so we're going to try and help out. We've managed to get just 12 damage, but I believe it does actually get us an assist in the end as well. So we left that quite late at the end, but we were in such a good position because we could shoot at both the other teams, and we had enough cover from them whilst they were shooting each other as well. And overall there, I hope you saw, it was quite an average match. We'll have a little look at the stats here just to see how average it was in particular, how we fared against, or with our teammates as well. And you can see there, I was going to pause it on this bit. So you can see there, obviously, we only got 3 kills. One of our teammates got 5, but we did get 2,000 damage as well as those 2 respawns as well. And that's 2,000 damage was because we were constantly breaking those shields. Now, some people might say that seems a little pointless at times. I mean, obviously, rule number 1, you do get assists in this game. Therefore, any damage you do that your teammates kill is good damage. However, the other part of this as well is, especially nearing that end fight there, what I'm really doing when I'm doing those kind of pings with the scout and just kind of knocking off a bit of armor here and there, is we're making the rest of the lobby gradually weaker. We're making it harder for them to survive, and thus we're going to have a better chance of actually coming first ourselves, purely because everybody else has taken those kind of shield damages and is probably going to get thirsted by other teams and such. So that's fine. If I'm doing a couple of 100 damage to a team and another team finishes them off and gets all the kill points, I don't really mind too much, because that is still a team that is out the way of the game. And the other part as well is, sometimes when you got more of a standoff near the end, is you're actually draining their resources as well. I mean, what is it, sort of like, you know, 20 bullets of scout for, you know, a couple of shield batteries that they have to use in turn? I mean, that's a good trade-off to me, and it means that at end parts like that, there's nobody hiding behind a rock quickly popping off a shield battery as you come in for the third party, because quite frankly they've used them all already, because you've knocked off their shields a couple of minutes beforehand. So that is why it is actually so important to carry a weapon like a scout, like a single fire hemlock, or even a sniper rifle like we had earlier on in the game, as well as then obviously a fully automatic that you can use at closer range, such as obviously an R301 or an R99. Prowler as well is absolutely awesome for that, or even a flatline I've been using recently as well. Now that's not to say obviously don't use your typical wingman mastiff combo. If that's what you absolutely thrive on, then go for it. But there is a reason that I use the loadout I do as much as I do love running around with a wingman and a mastiff. I use it because it's more effective in rank for me. It just is. I can get that damage easier, and I tend to win more when I've got a combination like that as well. But anyway, there we go. This was my video on playing Diamond 3 solo against Predator teams, because it is tough. It took a couple of days going, because quite frankly it was hard to get wins, and it was hard to get good wins. Sometimes I did, but I have been squadding up a little bit more recently as well, because playing solo is so difficult. You can see there, looking by my teammates, there were times when mistakes were made, and there were times when necessarily, if I was in a squad, they would have been a little bit more on my tail. We would have listened to one another's instructions a little bit more. But that obviously just doesn't quite happen when you are playing with randoms, and certainly without a microphone as well. So there were times when we could have done better. We could have probably picked up more points, but we still managed to pull out the win anyway. And that's because we were playing smart, and we were pinging things at the right time, and we were leading by example in a way as well. And mainly because when my teammates did make mistakes, the time when they both died for instance, we managed to pull it out the bag because we saw it coming. We've played enough of this game to know when those kind of situations are going to arise, and mainly how to get out of them. Now obviously I got quite fortunate with that third party coming in. I got unfortunate that it came in from my own side. However, we still managed to get away from it because we were ready to do it. I was already thinking about it 5 or 6 seconds before it happened, so it wasn't a sudden panic of, oh no, we got to get out of here. It was, oh, we're going to have to get out of here in a second, you see. And it's about playing with that calmness sometimes. The worst I ever do is when I'm at a full-on panic, so trying to play with a little bit more patience, a little bit of calm, a little bit of peace is very helpful, I find. And speaking of helpful, I hope that you found it helpful. Anyway, I know I had quite a few messages. I got quite good lots of feedback from the Platinum one and the Diamond 4 one as well. And I had quite a few messages asking when there's going to be a Diamond 3 one. So at first, when I first went into Diamond 3, it was absolute hell, and I didn't think I was ever going to be able to make this, to be honest with you. I didn't think I'd ever get a win solo. However, after playing in it for a good few days, I learnt my lesson. There are a few things that you have to do a little bit differently to what you do in further down in Diamond, basically. The point being that there's a lot of teams in Diamond 4 when you're playing in there that are quite good, or they know how to play ranked in terms of surviving, but they're not as good in gunfights. Whereas when you come into these kind of lobbies, you have those Predator teams that are absolutely ruthless in gunfights, so you've got to be on your game more. And what that actually means is you've got to shoot more, you've got to put them off, you've got to break a few armors, you've got to make them not want to push you. They're looking for the weaker teams in the lobby. You need to not be that team. So yeah, I really do hope that everybody found this helpful, or you know, the ones that would find this helpful found it helpful. And if you did, please leave a like, and I'd love it if you subscribed as well. I've almost reached 200, which is awesome. 3 away now, so yeah, if you get to be lucky 200, then congratulations. But other than that, yeah, that's it. Enjoy playing some ranked. Cheers.